Hi, welcome along to a game of two halves with my guest here, Mark Goldbridge, here on DR Sports. We take a look back at the games that took place in the Premier League at the weekend. Mark, good morning. Welcome along to you. And I know you're still excited after those brilliant games at the weekend.
I thought we were talking about Europe. I'm still excited about Europe, definitely. I think it's a big week there. But the Premier League, I think the highlight of the Premier League is going to be our team of the week and our win, lose or draw on Friday, because I think at least we're doing a job of, hyping up this, because it was, look, we've seen plenty of these. There's some aspects to it, but the thing that irritates me the most is like what we were just talking about there. It's the Chelsea-Liverpool game, and just how it ruins the top five race for Villa and Forest and Newcastle, really, when Chelsea get a gimme against the team that's lost 2 all season and is the best team, and they put half their team out. It's not Chelsea's fault. It's not Liverpool's fault. It's just annoying, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think we saw the consequences at the weekend of a couple of things. Number one, the league being over, right? Number two, relegation being over. And number three, teams that have got bigger things on the horizon, namely Arsenal, Manchester United, Spurs, right, with one eye on something else. So it just made for me for a really, really poor weekend. Even the teams at the bottom, some of them are playing each other. I mean, it was atrocious. We'll start with that game yesterday. Liverpool visiting Stamford Bridge. Now, under normal circumstances, would have been a fantastic game. If you're a Chelsea fan, it still was a fantastic game. Big win for Chelsea in their chances of getting into that top five, beating Liverpool by 3-1. But Liverpool, I think they made 6 changes and they just looked a shadow of themselves. My mate, who's a big Chelsea fan, texted me during the first half and said, Robbie, Liverpool are on the beach, right? And they were, weren't they? I mean, they were really poor.
Yeah. And I think, look, they've got every right to be on the beach. It's been a season where no one really predicted they were going to win the Premier League. It's going to be a great season for Arne Slot, and nobody's there to push them. And psychologically, I think football is about fitness, but I think it's also about those extra 5% here and there. And if Liverpool had been going into that Arsenal game next week a bit concerned, maybe 6 points ahead or something like that, I think they would have gone there and played a different team at a different intensity. But it was a mismatch. Chelsea needed to win. Liverpool didn't need to win. And look, I think back to 99 when we won the title, we won the treble. People forget that the final game of the season, we had Spurs at Old Trafford and Arsenal. I think we're playing Everton. And we needed to win. And we'd played Blackburn, I think, the game before that, or 2 games before that, who were managed by Brian Kidd. They were going to in a relegation battle. And, that's a title race when it goes like that. The problem is we haven't had the title race. So Liverpool are entitled to rest players, but it is unfair. It is unfair on Aston Villa and Nottingham Forest and Newcastle and everyone else in that top 5 race that it just lands for Chelsea. We were saying Chelsea's final 4 games are really tough.
Yeah.
They go and beat Liverpool 3-1, Liverpool's 3rd loss of the season. It's just, there's a reason for that. Liverpool fans don't care. Chelsea fans don't care. But the Premier League should care, because with no relegation and these sort of things happening, if the Premier League is going to be over in mid-May, in mid-April, then we need some jeopardy, and there's not a lot from that. But yeah, Chelsea, your mate's right. Chelsea looked like they were going to win that game from the first minute.
Yeah, and they deservedly did win it, and it's a massive win for them. Looking at some of the other games yesterday, it was Newcastle. They were away at Brighton. A place that they always struggle at, right? And they struggled again. Despite getting 3 penalties, they did actually convert one of those to get an equaliser. And probably, they deserved it. They were pushing hard. But they conceded that early goal, great goal by Minter, who, by the way, he was at Newcastle. But dropped points, really, for Newcastle, although they are still firmly in a good position in that top 5.
Yeah, I think they'll get it. I think Newcastle have done really well second half of the season. I mean, look, we've said it before. The fact that Villa have won 6 of their last 7 and can't get into the top 6 is just shows you what Chelsea and Newcastle and City have done in recent weeks, and that is they've really stepped it up. And I think we said on Friday, I think the top 5 probably will be the top 5. I think Chelsea's win against Liverpool gives them a bit of breathing space. Newcastle have got some good fixtures. And they probably did. Well, they treated Brighton 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 played well, but yeah, Newcastle deserved something out of the game, definitely. And there was a few controversies about the VAR, but I think we've had 3. You expect to get 1, and they scored it. And a draw, probably not a bad result for both teams, really. I did watch that game whilst keeping an eye on United. So, yeah, not a bad result for Newcastle. They've got Chelsea next week. So if they win that, I think they're done. I think they're there.
Yeah, well, keeping an eye on United. And I think whilst you were keeping an eye on them, they were keeping an eye on Thursday.
Yeah.
Because they put in also another poor performance, another defeat for you. Is that 17 defeats now in the league? But probably no United fan really cares. Ruben Amorim doesn't care because it's all on the big one on Thursday. But Brentford, by the way, very impressive they've been this season. Their manager, Thomas Frank, by the way, the job that he does with a limited budget is unbelievable. Beating Manchester United by 4 goals to 3. 4 goals to 3. A little bit of a rally by United late in the game, Ahmad and Garnacho, but it was a comprehensive defeat, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think Thomas Frank deserves credit because United picked a lot of young players, and in the first half they bombarded us with crosses and long throw-ins. It was like Stoke with the towel. I don't know whether they normally do that, but yeah, it was.
No, they do. They can mix it up.
Yeah, it worked really well for them. They deserve to get the win. It's interesting that you say that United fans aren't bothered because I don't know. Well, I see it with Arsenal as well. It's we do have, and I don't know whether it's the same with Liverpool, Chelsea. I don't know whether it's just modern football, whether they're a really vocal minority, but we do have some real toxic elements in our fan base that they're giving it the big one when we win in Bilbao. And I'm saying it on Friday in my preview. I'm saying they'll be back on, when we lose to Brentford, they'll all be going Amorim out again. And they're all going Amorim out again. It's unacceptable, this, that, and the other. And I'm like, just pick a side. Don't start cheering on Thursday and then Amorim out on Sunday. There is an element of that around.
Got to be real. Yeah, you've got to be real in football. Come on, there's one eye. Oh, all right, listen. United have lost way too many games this season. It's been horrendous. He won't get that pass next season if it's the same. But he's into the semi-final, and it's obvious that all his focus is on that semi-final. So I mean, if he was to go and throw away that semi-final now on Thursday, I could get some of it, but at the moment, I mean, you don't want to see your team lose. But if you win 10-0, does it make a difference? Well, let's just be real at this stage.
This is what I mean. De Ligt had to play because he needs minutes, and unfortunately, he's probably out for the season.
Yeah,
but Bruno played no minutes. Rasmus played no minutes. Casemiro played no minutes. There was risks taken on certain players. When we won the Europa League with Jose, I think it was 17. I was looking back at the match reports yesterday for a show on the United stand, and our last 4 games of the season, one of them was actually Arsenal. He made 8 changes, and then against Spurs, he made 8 changes, and then he did it for every game. And he got to a point where the press were getting onto him, and he said, "I'm not talking about it. All I care about is winning the Europa League. If I win that league, if I win that tournament, this season's rescued. If I don't, I'm in trouble." And he just completely ignored the last 4 games of the Premier League season. If Mourinho can do it, what's the problem with Amorim doing it? Or, people will go, yeah, but look at where you were in the league. It was still a shit season. 7th or 17th is unacceptable for United or Arsenal or anybody else. So we all know it's salvation, or look, I'll say it, Robbie, if we don't win that Europa League, it's got to be huge questions about Manchester United Football Club this season. But if we win the Europa League, there needs to be questions, but you sort of get out of dodge, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, it was a weird one by Arsenal as well, because they did actually play a strong team, right? I was surprised at how strong the team was. However, right, that was a poor performance as I've seen from Arsenal. First half, by the way, they played well. They did all right in the first half, scored a great goal through Declan Rice. Nice assist by Odegaard.
Declan Rice. I thought Declan Rice looked good.
Nice assist by Odegaard, who's been under pressure. Play some decent stuff. I mean, it's almost as if, right, I was at the game, it's almost as if someone said at half-time to those players, "Hey, guys, dial it down a bit, man. Take it easy. Remember what you got coming up on Wednesday night. No one get injured." No. In that second half, there was guys just walking around. Well, not walking around, but they weren't playing with no intensity. And you could see a goal coming back. And, Bournemouth, for the first time ever, beating us at home, another defeat suffered at home. And you're right, a lot of people were very unhappy. I mean, me personally, I'll tell you, I went home and I wasn't really affected by that result because even though it was poor, even though I was really disappointed with losing the game, because you don't want to see your team lose any game, and I was over it very quickly. Normally I wouldn't be, but I was over that because all it is for me is Wednesday night PSG away. If we won that game, as I said, 10-0, it means nothing if we lose on Wednesday. It's the same thing. So, but some Arsenal fans were losing it as well, saying basically, there was quite a few saying if he loses on Wednesday against PSG, he should be sacked, which I completely disagree with. You've got if Mikel Arteta goes into next season and we don't win anything, I think, I will be looking at changing the manager. I'll be honest with you, because you then look at it and say, he's good, but he never gets us over the line. But this season, I do think he's had a lot of mitigation in a lot of injuries to players, right? Yes, he's got things wrong. And also, he still has a chance of turning around that 1-0 deficit. So those sort of questions, I think, should be saved at the very least. Save them till, like you said, next week, Friday or Thursday.
It doesn't. Look, I get it. I was listening to you there. You make some really good points as normal. And it's like, I wasn't impacted by the Wolves loss to United or the Brentford loss because I get it. I've been here before. I've seen what happened with Mourinho. I don't like United losing games, but there is bigger fish to fry. And it is modern football. It's ridiculously intense. And those footballers are the same as us. They're human beings. They're on social media. They know that Wednesday's bigger than Bournemouth. They know that if they beat Bournemouth 6-0 and play really well, people will forget that very quickly if they lose to PSG. So these fans who come out and go, and I saw one of them on AFTV and he was like, if he doesn't win on Wednesday, he needs to be sacked. And look, I understand that fan's entitled to opinion. That's the whole point of it. But people, I got a bit of stick for it on Saturday night from people. I'm like, I'm used to all that. But my point is, Arsenal Football Club would be laughing at Dan and any fan doing that because they'll go, all right, you're really upset, you're really stressed, but they're not going to listen to that. They'll listen to you. They won't listen to that because what you're saying is if next season this happens, we need to look at a change. That's pragmatic. If he loses on Wednesday, we need to sack him. The club would go, right, we've got a director of football that's been working with Arteta for the last few weeks. We've got targets lined up, ready to go that we're going to announce very, very soon. We finished second. We got to the semi-final of the Champions League. We're committed to Arteta. If we sack him on Wednesday, who's coming in? What happens to our transfer plans? What happens to the players that don't want him to get sacked? You just completely disrupt the football club. And that's what I mean. That's what annoys me about it. Is like they're entitled to say Arteta might not be the guy. But everyone knows it's like Amrim. Everyone knows Amrim's getting the summer. There's no point in going online or doing a video outside Emirates and going, he needs to be sacked on Wednesday because we understand the frustration and you're entitled to your opinion. But come on, it's not going to happen, isn't it? Is it? So why are you saying that? You've got to, what you're saying makes more sense. If next season you're second in this position, I would say, yeah, you know what? It probably is time now. But I think the summer's going to be I think Arsenal are going to win the league next year. So we'll see.
Well, let's wait and see about that because I do understand. Listen, I understand the frustrations. As I said, it was a poor performance in the second half, but then I like you said, these players are human beings, right? I mean, Bukayo Saka, he didn't make one attempt really to get past players. He didn't try to tackle people. He was just managing the game. My thing was, what I didn't understand, where it was a bit weird from Mikel Arteta, is that why then play such a strong team?
Yeah.
I
think bench was so bad against PSG. Have you got a team that you can put out that's not really, really weak and might get beat for?
There is that. It's really difficult to play a weakened team at the moment because there are, literally everybody who's available is playing. But there are some changes he could have made. He could have played like a Kieran Tierney instead of, Miles Lewis-Skelly. He could have, put Sterling in for Saka. He could have made quite a few. He could have just went with a completely, younger team. But I guess what he was trying to do.
Amrim did that, and you still get a load of United fans going, Amrim out. You're damned if you're doing it, damned if you don't, aren't you?
That's true. I think what he was trying to do is just make sure he wins that game to secure the top four. He's not completely. So you say Arsenal finish second. I'm not too sure we will now. You know what I mean? City only a few points behind. I think even Chelsea have 4 points. Well, we've been horrendous in recent games because They've just been focused on the Champions League. So they've been either drawing games. They were looking like they were going to draw that until, right at the end, they let that one slip as well. So I get why.
Are you bothered about second? Are you bothered about second or third?
I couldn't give a. You know what? Right, I actually thinking to myself, right, I was going, might even take third. Then people can't sing. Then people can't sing second again, LA, because you actually came third. So I ain't gonna rhyme or nothing, right? So, right, because you can't sing third again because we came second last year.
Yeah.
So maybe you won't be able to sing that. Listen, I just want us to beat PSG, right? If we beat PSG, get to that final, then I don't even care if we finish fifth. Get to that final. As long as we get Champions League. Who cares? Second, third, fourth, it don't make no difference. Because to me, I know the reasons why we wouldn't have finished second. Just the same reasons why Liverpool lost that game yesterday. Their mind is elsewhere. It's the same with Arsenal. Their mind. I would have rather him have gone with a weakened team the other day. You know what I mean? Because he as I said at halftime, basically they were just completely focused on Wednesday. But now they've got to do the business, and it's going to be very difficult. Let me just quickly on some of the other games. West Ham won, Spurs won. Again, Spurs, their mind's elsewhere. Their mind's on that Bodo Glimt game on Thursday. Villa, though, had a big, important win. They are very focused on trying to get that fifth place, and they beat Fulham by 1-0. Everton 2, Ipswich 2. All right, good fight back by Ipswich. You're showing a bit of pride. Leicester 2, Southampton 0. Who cares? Southampton look like they're going to go down with the worst total. They still haven't been able to get any more points. And if we look at the table as it stands at the moment, Liverpool, as we know, have won the league. Arsenal second on 67, but breathing down their neck now. Manchester City 64 in third. Newcastle in fourth on 63 points. Chelsea in fifth, 63. Forest play tonight against Crystal Palace. They've got 60, and so Villa in seventh on 60. So all very close there. We know who's going down already. And that's the top five. But Mark, it's all about the games this week. First of all, let's just quickly, Arsenal going to Paris to take on PSG. Luckily enough, I got a ticket. I'll be there. I'm nervous about it now. Yeah, we can turn it around, or we could even get hammered. I mean, it's one of those games.
Yeah, I mean, listening to you on Friday about it, it sort of changed my stance a little bit in the sense that I probably thought about it a little bit more over the weekend. And what I will say about PSG is I've been very impressed with them, and they're brilliant in Paris. But they were brilliant in Paris against Liverpool, and they lost. They were brilliant against Villa, and they only got the killer sort of third goal, I think it was, right at the end of the game. Yeah. Villa defended well against them. Liverpool rode their luck a little bit. Arsenal have got a better defence than that. And the big thing with Arsenal is if they had that goal scoring ability, I think I'd put them in the final. So I do think they've got a chance. But just like PSG to turn up and actually put the ball in the back of the net and be 3-0 up at half time. But that could happen. But I've just got a funny feeling that people are writing Arsenal off again too soon. And I think, if I was an Arsenal fan yourself, I would be going into it, not confident, but not like it's a foregone conclusion, certainly.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm confident, but I do think we got a good chance. It's only 1-0. Like you said, both of those games, the two English teams scored first. Liverpool scored the only goal in that game away, and Villa actually scored first, even though they were under the cosh, right? If Arsenal were to say score first, what would that do for the nerves of PSG? Remember, they've been here before, and their nerves have been jangling. They rested their whole team on Saturday. So they're even the keeper Donnarumma they rested. They lost that game, but they lost they played everybody. This is the thing when we're talking about even with Arsenal's game. Before they played us, they played everybody in a really a game that they really wanted to win to go invincible for the whole season in their league, and they lost. Then they turned up and put in a great performance against us. So Arsenal have got to leave everything on the pitch. They've got to play well. They've got to, all of those draws and all that they've been having leading up to, they've got to do that. They've performed well in the Champions League this season. They put in good away performances. This one has to be their best so far if they're going to overcome PSG. I don't even know what to think of the game until the game starts, but we got a chance. It's only 1-0. And at 1-0, that can be overturned, but I don't even know what.
Look, you messed up the Emirates
so much
game.
on it, Mark.
You messed up the Emirates game, obviously, but in some ways, it's 1-0. It's not like 3-0, is it? And it's not like what Bilbao have got to do against United. And also, you're away from home, you defend well. It sort of like suits Arsenal to go, right, come on then. What are you going to do? We're not going to open up yet. We don't need to open up yet. We only need 1 goal to take it to extra time. So it might work in Arsenal's favour. If PSG have got to attack, their fans will demand they attack.
Do they though? That might be the thing. Is that how much do they attack? Because they're 1-0 up, and they're on the brink of a final. So do they have to look at it in a little bit more conservative way and say, right, we attack, but let's just not go crazy? I don't know. It's going to be really interesting.
But that lets Arsenal in, doesn't it? That lets Arsenal in, because if they don't attack and they don't play with intensity, which they're good at, then Arsenal get a bit of a foothold on possession, and then it's sort of like it could be a game of chess. That's what I'm saying. It's like not. Yeah. I think PSG have to dictate the game, which might suit Arsenal a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be a really interesting game. Of course, you've got your game at home against Athletic Bilbao. It should be comfortable. I mean, you're 3-0 up.
Yeah, they
shouldn't have any worries, should you?
They don't score that many goals. They had a big league game last night and they drew 0-0. Yeah. It can happen, but this is at Old Trafford. It's not like it's back in Spain like with you in the Bernabeu. So no, we should be getting through. I'm famous last words, but we really should. I hope Bodo Glimt beat Spurs, though. That'd be great.
Well, Bodo Glimt, Spurs, they were very, very comfortable, but they did concede that 1 goal that gives a glimmer of hope to Bodo Glimt. And it's on that notorious plastic pitch, right? Or 3G pitch. Can that be overturned?
I'd love it, because we're sorting tickets out to Bilbao for the final, as you have to do in the game. You've played the game. And I know there's a lot of people from North London who are competing for those tickets as well. So it'd be funny if they had to try and sell them off to a small contingent of Norwegians or United fans. In fact, it'd be United fans buying them off them. So that'd be great. Yeah. But I get the feeling they'll get. I mean, look, Spurs, they're like United. They have got very good players. I'd love it. I don't like playing English teams in the final. I don't want to play. I didn't like. I didn't enjoy the Chelsea 08. But I think it will be Spurs, and then obviously it's going to be a huge game. But look, we've not even spoke Barca Inter. I think that's probably the game of the week. I mean, that's just a great game. That is. That's
a great game. 3-3 in that one. Who do you reckon? All right. So who gets? We know who gets through. So we're saying Spurs and United. Yeah. Who gets through? PSG, Arsenal, and Barca. Well, Inter Barca.
I'd like to see an Arsenal Barca final.
It'll be repeated the last time we got there.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. I think PSG's home crowd might get them through, so I'll go PSG. I've got to go Inter's home. I'm going to go PSG Inter. I think that home team. I think people have written Inter off all along. All
right, because you've gone for that, I'm going Arsenal Barca. Right, a repeat of the Women's Champions League final that's going to take place. That'd be brilliant. If you
I'd love to see that,
yeah, that'd be cool. But we're gonna find out this week, people. Right, let's finally get into it. Our team of the week. Right, right. Do you want to lead off? Or?
Yeah, I've got a few different ones to you. I think first of all, before we get into this, little disclaimer: Robbie's trying to really hype up Bournemouth. He's trying to really play the mind games here, because I've seen his team and he's got nearly half the Bournemouth side in it. So just a warning there. He said that Arsenal were rubbish, and then he's putting half of Bournemouth in it. Anyway,
they played well.
Yeah, well, I don't think they played well. I thought the goals were crappy goals. Do you think it was handball anyway?
Yes. Listen, I was sat there, and when the goal went in, I turned around to the guy next to me. I said, "That's handball." Because where I had a great angle where I'd sit on it. I sit to the side, right? On a sort of upper tier, right? And when it went in, I go, handball. And then when I saw on the screen, they're checking for offside. I'm like, is that offside? I thought it looked handball. And then when I saw him checking for handball, I go to him, see, told you, disallow this. And then it was given. Yeah. I thought it's handball. You can still see. But listen, I ain't even, who cares, man?
Exactly.
But these PGMOL.
I actually went... I was going to go for Bruggen, but then I actually think you make a better point with Martinez, because he kept a clean sheet. So I think
a clean sheet in a very, very important game.
Yeah,
So what's your back four?
I agree with Casido at right back.
Yeah.
I actually went with Wan-Bissaka at left back. I know you went with Kirkes, Bournemouth. Vardiel, I thought played well on Friday night, and I went Chalobah for Chelsea because I thought he played well as well. But again, you've got another Bournemouth player, haven't you? Come on,
All
who
right.
you got?
Well, Kirkes, who I thought was excellent. Dean Hyson, who I thought was excellent as well, and scored. Right, he scored a great header. And Konsa for Villa, who played well, and they kept a clean sheet in a very important game. That's my back four. Kirkes played well, man. He was good.
Yeah, look, you can have your
Look how
Bournemouth
quite
players.
Saka was.
If it makes you feel better, you can have your Bournemouth players. But I do think I watched the Villa game, and I do think Vardiel played really well against Man City. As much as I said I didn't want to watch it, I do think he played very well for Man City. And I think he's had a very good season in a terrible team. But
that was against Wolves, though. I think Konsa.
Wolves have won loads of games.
They have, right? But Konsa, that's a big, big game, right? Well, so was the City one. But Konsa, Fulham, been playing well. All right, guys, choose Konsa or Gavardio.
Or just going on Robbie for his Bournemouth nonsense.
Those players deserve to be in there. That goal by Hyson was a great goal. It was direct, again, another long throw, like you said, right?
What's happened to your set piece, coach? Even Arteta's had enough of him.
Do you know that now that I couldn't believe that stat, that we've actually conceded the most goals from set pieces?
Mad, isn't it?
It's crazy, isn't it? We went from like scoring the most and conceding the least, but obviously, they've switched off in the last few games. Midfield. All right, let me give you mine. I went De Bruyne, Lavia, and Tielemans.
Yeah, I like the Lavia one. I thought he's hardly played for 2 years, but I thought he played really well yesterday.
Yeah.
De Bruyne I can live with. I actually had Bernardo Silva down. I thought he played well, but De Bruyne, much of a much.
Scored.
Yeah. And I like Tielemans. Yeah. I mean, I did put Declan Rice down. I didn't watch enough of the Arsenal game, but I thought he did okay. But
he was excellent in the first half. But then he came off early in the second half.
Yeah, I think I'll go with your three on that. Yeah. Tielemans, as long as Tielemans is there, I think he's been
he was there.
And
your forwards?
Yeah, I put Cole Palmer up front because I couldn't think of a striker really, but I put Minter and Shade at Brentford. I was very impressed with him, and I thought Minter, from what I was watching on the screen, played really well.
Yeah, I put Shade or Sharda. Shade. Yeah. Is that you call him Shade?
I don't know.
Oh, he's Sharda. Right.
Probably Sharda. He put us in the shade anyway.
Yeah. And I went another Bournemouth player.
Evan Nilsson. Here we go. I'm having Evan Nilsson in. What did he do?
That's a historic win for them. They've never beaten us before at the Emirates.
So he's in team of the week because he's got a Bournemouth shirt on. What did he do? Bring out the oranges or something?
He scored the goal, didn't he? The winner, the handball.
The handball. He just said it was a handball. No, I'm not having Evan Nilsson in. No, I'm not having that. No.
Who you want then? Instead of who's you saying?
Minter. Yeah.
All right, guys.
Really well.
Evan Nilsson or Minter? I'll make the public choose again, right?
Yeah, it's not on ability. It's on team of the week. Robbie's even admitted it was a handball. He's trying to put him in team of the week.
But he put himself about in it. He put himself about in there. He got it, innit? They won the game. What can I do? You know what I mean?
I can't believe we've got 3 Bournemouth players in team of the week.
Actually,
and you've just spent the last 10 minutes telling us how it doesn't matter. Arsenal weren't that bothered.
No, but we were winning 1-0, and they did come back, and for them, they were going for it. So you got to give them their respect, man. Just because we were poor, still got to give them their respect, man. They did do well.
It was a bad weekend, to be fair. I mean,
it was a horrible weekend of football. But let's say this week is going to be hot, and we're looking forward to it. Mark, thank you very much for coming on. Don't forget, guys, back on Friday. That's going to be a big show. I reckon
I've done all right. I think I've done all right. I haven't checked yet, but I know you went Southampton over Leicester.
No, I know. What was I thinking, man? I
could have gone either way, to be fair.
Yeah, I had a horrendous weekend, right? So we'll find out on Friday how I did. Has Mark been able to pull it back? Only a couple of games left now till the end of the season, so we'll see. But Mark, thank you very much. Have a great day. Enjoy your week. Hopefully I enjoy my week as well. If I come back as this happy on Friday,
let's hope so, yeah. Be good. both into finals on Friday. It'd be great.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. That'd be beautiful. Take care.
Cheers, everyone.